Hey everybody, welcome to a new video. It's me, John, aka Nosy, and I'm back for a brand new video. Today is a response. My good friend, John, aka BordersDude, just recently uploaded a new video, and it is a kind of like just asking a very interesting question that I would like to kind of talk about, because I don't believe I've ever really responded or heard of a question quite like this before, which has really kind of caused me to do a response, like a proper response, like I am now, or should I say like I'm doing now. So the video in question and the question in question, so basically John, or BordersDude, he put up on the Transformers YouTube community Facebook page this interesting question. Says here, would you be collecting if there wasn't a community? That's basically it. So would you still collect Transformers if they're, without the community? So, or whatever you want to word that as. So, would you collect if there wasn't a community? So that is a very interesting question, because I know I've spoken about my kind of my foot in the door sort of thing, back in the day when I first started out doing YouTube. Me getting involved in this community and in other collectors within the UK, over in Canada and America, I've made some great friends like all over the place pretty much over those years. Over the years I've been doing videos and reviewing stuff and so on and so forth. And so I thought this was a very interesting question. I did respond to him on one of the groups that he posted that on. So I'm just going to kind of alliterate what I said to him in the comments of when he posted it. So yeah, how I kind of come into this whole thing to begin with was kind of exploring YouTube when YouTube was brand new. Back in the day of dial-up connection, just oh well, not quite, but but yeah, but yeah. So back in, what was it? Was it 2006? Was around about 2006-07 time, I believe it was, when YouTube first started, I believe. And I used to have a YouTube account before I was known as, well, I had a YouTube account. It's no longer up, and I just made it mostly to just be able to, because back then, I believe it's still the same now, I believe, back then you had to have an account on YouTube in order to be able to comment on people's videos and to, get involved, basically. So I just made an account just for fun, so that I could talk to people and watch videos and all that kind of jazz. I mean, you could have done that without an account, but but that's what I did back then anyway. And so through that very first YouTube account that I ever made, or YouTube channel that I made, I met some great people along the way. I just thought one day, I searched Transformers, thinking to just get a bunch of random episodes of seasons like Generation 1, G2, Beast Wars, whatever it was, and so whatever up to that point of time anyways. And then I just, all of a sudden, I was kind of like watching, I was watching something in regards to Transformers, and then there was like a relative, maybe you would like to watch this next or whatever, and I noticed like a lot of people popping up, or that back then, like obviously, thumbnails wasn't really a thing back then. Thumbnails are more of a recent thing where people really do them, and look, some people do really professional looking ones and things like that, but back then it was just a still of a video of somebody holding a figure in their hands. So I clicked on one person, and I believe the first person I clicked on or discovered was a guy called Sammy, Skullgrew140. And so I watched one of his, I can't remember what he was reviewing, but it was obviously on a Transformer. And it was from the UK, and I just commented saying, love the review, I absolutely love Transformers, kind of something like that, or I would have expected, I assume anyway. And he replied back, and then I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. So then I kept looking, and I come up with a load of other people that were at the time, like Matt Tammy, Dave, Carol Pram, Simon, oh, what was he? What did he go by? Diansis. Yeah, Diansis, I believe his YouTube name was. Ray, Isle of Mess, George, Exaggerated Elegy, Jared, Wolfgang 1. All these people that kind of popped up around about 2008 time, roughly 2007 to 2008, around about that time when people started really popping up. And then I found all these other people from America and Canada and so on. And I thought this was a really cool little thing. You know, I was commenting to people at first, you know, leaving a nice review, comment on the videos and everything, and I was getting responses back. And back then, you had the option to message people like an email system. So now and again, I thought out, you know, just thought pop them a message in like a community thing back then, and we started talking through YouTube, because that's what you could do back then. Unfortunately, you can't do that anymore. And you know, that kind of got me really into it, and really getting me, and I was really enjoying watching people talk about these toys. And some of them I had when I was a kid, some of them I've never owned before but always wanted to own. And you know, this was at a time when I generally was, you know, where YouTube was brand new, really, only about a couple of years old at the time. And yeah, so, and then I decided on my original channel, which was Nosy00, I decided to make my very first review. I told my mum at the time, saying, oh, I've made some mates and kind of made some internet friends, and seen this, like, you know, people talking about Transformers, and my mum was like, oh, bloody hell, Transformers. It used to drive my mum absolutely mad with Transformers, because I couldn't understand some of the transformations when I was a kid. So my mum or my dad had to somehow figure them out so I could play with them, because I had a real short attention span when I was a kid. So most of the time, some Transformers I did figure out on my own, but some of the more in-depth ones at the time were a little bit above me at the time. I was very simple as a kid. Not much has changed, to be quite honest with you. but no, so but yeah, my mum remembered Transformers, because obviously I had some Beast Wars figures back in the day, Beast Machines, Robots in Disguise, Transformers, the Takara, the Unicron trilogy, some of them toys as well. So I had a few toys when I was a bit younger, in regards to Transformers. And so my mum was well aware of all that, and but yeah, so I decided to go out, and I bought this little, at the time Transformers Animated had just aired on Cartoon Network, so this would have been about 2007. And so I went out into town, went to Toys R Us, and I think it was, yeah, it would have been Toys R Us, because that would have been open back then. And so I went in there, had a little walk around, saw the Transformers section, didn't really want to buy, obviously I didn't really have much cash back then, because I think back then I was just a steward at my local sports stadium where the local Hull City play, so that's the only job and income I had back then. And then obviously I got my first job, proper job, about a year later, about 2008. 2009, roughly, about that. So yeah, so long story short, I bought this little figure. It was a Transformers Animated Legends class, Little Legends animated Prowl. So I bought that, brought it home, and filmed my first review, popped it up on the channel, and it did relatively quite well. All the people that I commented on other videos before and subscribed to started subscribing to me, and I started getting a little following, and then started getting shout outs from people like Sammy, Jared, and a few other people doing shout outs to me from other people in America and Canada, and started getting a little bit of a following, and I thought, oh, this is fantastic. So I just really enjoyed doing it, and that's why I'm still doing it even to this day. But the questioning of, I understand the questions asking that John BordersDude is asking there, is if that wasn't there, if I hadn't have randomly searched, or if there wasn't a resurgence at that time of all these people from America, Canada, the UK, for instance, if there wasn't that there, a community of people collecting toys and talking about them and reviewing them online, answering that question that John has asked there, I genuinely don't think I would have been involved if nothing like that was really happening at the time, or if I hadn't have just thought about looking up Transformers on YouTube and just discovering a random review by somebody. If I hadn't have done all that, and if there wasn't anything of that kind at that time, if there wasn't a community talking about toys, talking about Transformers and other things that I loved back when I was a kid, if that wasn't happening at all back then I generally don't think I'd have been a collector. I wouldn't have started my YouTube channel, I wouldn't have started making videos, I wouldn't have been collecting toys. I probably would have saved a hell of a lot more money. But the sad thing is I wouldn't have met most of the people I've made friends with over the years, people I've met face to face, people that some of the people that really helped me out back when I was really starting out on YouTube on my original channel. And meeting people over the years, being recognised at conventions by people that apparently like my videos. Really? But I've had all this encouragement and a lot of people and support from people over the years while I've been doing these videos, and I'm very happy that there is a community, because otherwise I don't think I would have been able to change like I have done. Because but back when I started out, I was very shy, very much to myself, and didn't have many friends. I only had a couple of friends that I still spoke to from school, and that was literally it. And I was very unsure of going out and being social and things of that nature. I was very much to myself, and thanks to discovering the community and discovering all these people that did reviews and everything on YouTube, I met some people. It really got me out. It really got me a little bit more confident. It helped my confidence a little bit with meeting new people, because that at one point that I would never have done that in a million years, because I was just too anxious. Really quite shy and anxious on that kind of thing. But when I went to Water Assembly for the first time in 2010, ever since then, and going to Water Assembly and now TF Nation, going to those events like I've mentioned before a few times, it has really helped me as a person to be a little bit more, to be able to talk to people, make new friends and all that kind of thing. So I generally don't know. Maybe I might have just maybe got a bit more confident. Maybe I just would, in time, maybe my confidence or how I see myself now in the present, how I see myself now, I probably might have worked my way up to that on my own. But I don't know. It's a very it's a hard question for me to answer, really, because I just generally don't know. Because my life, my social side of things, my hobby has literally always been, since I was about 17, 18 years old, has mostly been me talking about toys online, reviewing them, doing information videos talking about the Transformers live action films, because I did a bit of that back in on my original channel as well. Doing like, I think I covered Dark of the Moon, because I think I was too late to talk about the 07 film, because obviously that was already coming out. And then obviously I can't remember if it was Revenge of the Fallen or Dark of the Moon that I started with, talking about information on those films. So yeah, I did a bit of that, did all that, did some reviews, and if I hadn't have noticed, or if there wasn't a community back then I generally don't know, I wouldn't have even bothered of buying that first figure, meeting the people I've met over the years. I wouldn't have even have heard or even found out about Auto Assembly or TF Nation or any other convention like that. So I generally think my life would have been completely drastically different if, you know, if this hadn't have happened. You know what I mean? It's so yeah, that's generally my question. That is my answer to John's question, to BordersDude's question. So yeah, a very interesting question indeed. Thank you very much for making it, John, and hope you don't mind me doing a response, my friend. But yeah, so I just wanted to make a response to this because it's an interesting question, and I don't believe I've ever really answered a question like that before. So, you know, if there wasn't a community, would I have started collecting, or would I be collecting? And the answer, in short, is probably not. If that wasn't there back then, when that insurgence of people talking about these little pieces of plastic, these robots, these, you know, these transforming toys, if that wasn't happening back then there wasn't a community, then no, I probably wouldn't have seen it or experienced it or started watching all these different people, and through that I wouldn't have met the people behind those YouTube channels and those videos. Well, I haven't met everybody that I used to watch on YouTube, unfortunately, but I have met quite a few of the UK guys, which of course most of those are subscribed to me now on this channel. So yeah, I don't know where I'd be if I hadn't have discovered this community, or if there wasn't a community. I don't know where I'd be now, but I'm very glad that there is. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Stay awesome, stay safe, everybody, and I'll be back very soon with more videos. So again, just a very quick thank you for all the support that I've had with me recently getting a new job. I know I've mentioned it on my vlog channel, so I'm not going to mention it too much more on here, but I just want to say a huge thank you for all the support that I've had on Facebook, private messages, all that kind of jazz. So thank you ever so much to everybody that has either commented on the vlogs, commented or sent me a message, a private message on Facebook, or commented on Facebook on my status updates and that. So I just want to say, if anyone on here, you know who you are, has done that, so I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys. You are awesome. So thank you very much. Thank you to John, to BordersDude. You are awesome as well, my friend. Hopefully I will see many of you TFNger peeps next year, so hopefully. So here we go. Thank you. Bye bye now. See you soon.